The movie stars Cheech and Chong. Not that I want to say that you guys look like Cheech and Chong, but at least I laugh a lot when you guys are around. And
nice. Not like Laurel and Hardy or
Starsky and Hutch.
There's so many duos.
That's sexier, I must say. That's sexier than Cheech and Chong.
There you go. There you go.
But somehow every time there's being heroes, they're working as spares. That's good. We have so many beautiful memories of heroes, and I think you guys are that. You are heroes of the modern era of health and wellness. Man. And I really appreciate you guys coming to our channel.
Thank you.
And being a part of this wonderful world of transformation. The IAAM, INVITAS. It's really heartfelt. And I am intent in this new episode to dig deep into the origins of your operation, of how this all came about, the possibility of bringing nutrition and alternative ways of reaching that potential that we have. Because we were just talking before, every day we wake up, and all the time that we are doing different things, we are always experiencing lack of energy. Sometimes we have fatigue. We wish to have a better performance. We're always looking for supplements, especially when we grow older. We start adding up new vitamins, something we see in a commercial. Maybe what I need is a little bit more testosterone, so we buy the next commercial that we see. We go and buy that.
Right.
Then somebody tells us that we need magnesium, and we buy that as well. And we at the same time know that food is no longer serving its purpose. It's like we eat and we don't feel
content or fulfilled with the nutritions that are
or well fed, basically.
And the soil is depleted from many nutrients.
Exactly.
Also.
So that's for me so important, just to hear why two brilliant minds like you guys decide to start something oriented for for nutrition,
right,
and try to optimize and in a way hack all that we really need in our human body.
Well, I want to touch on that by saying also, and thank you, one of our missions is that we can help awaken heroes in other people. I would say, as heroes and superheroes.
Wow,
we're on a mission to optimize human performance, and this entails waking up the hero inside each and every person who is willing to engage with us under the umbrella of integrative medicine and regenerative wellness. And
I love it, man. This is why I love working with you, because you're exactly where I was going to touch. You said a lot there with what you were saying, and you were mentioning as far as some very beautiful things that were heartfelt, and I thank you for those kind words. They mean a lot to me, and it makes me feel. It makes me realize that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. So thank you all for tuning in, and for working with the great Dr. Newman. Thank you for being here. Dr. Newman, I'm rich, baby. Woo! Let's go, baby. Woo! All right. Take two. Here we go. So the truth is that yes, a lot of it is tapping into the superhero. And what is that? What does that even really mean? What does that really mean? And it's just really tapping into yourself, to your highest capability of being able to be in flow. And that may sound like a lot, but it's natural to us when we're aligned, and when our body's working right and our mind is working right and we're getting proper sleep and regenerating and recovering. Oftentimes that'll help the whole outlook on life and the experience of life be a lot more fulfilling. And that's really what I've learned, is that type of balance as to how to get that balanced, and then therefore challenge myself outside of my comfort zone. The more pressure that I feel, the more I grow. I'm not meant to be broken. I'm meant to be broken open. So it's perspective. It's the shift and change in how you start to look at things. And all of these things require nutrients, whether it be mind, body, or being. What does that mean? Good sleep, good nutrition, peaceful thoughts, loving thoughts. Look at the greatness in things rather than the negativity in things. So these are all different layers of optimizing human performance. And sometimes there'll be highs in certain areas and lows in other areas. So it's also like orchestrating the symphony of your life. That's truthfully really what, optimizing human performance is working at your highest capability and then refining that to get to a higher level then.
And it doesn't really matter so much what brings people through the door, whether they have digestive problems, GI issues, stress, pain, and inflammation, cancer, there's allergies, there's so many reasons people walk through the door,
right.
Athletes. And offering a system that dovetails perfect with them as individuals and offers them those key components, optimizing their detox and absorption levels, managing what's happening in their system emotionally, mentally, physically, situationally, to whatever degree a person is available. Pressure gives us that opportunity to step out of our comfort zone, and to what degree do we show up to that level of challenge? How capable and at what pace are we comfortable with moving in that direction? And we're here to help guide you and coach you every step of the way as a team of specialist doctors and therapists who are available for you.
I have to just add this real quick. So we were here just talking real quick, and I was just completely looked into you. I wasn't even really noticing, and I was falling into what you were saying because I'm like, wow, I can understand exactly what he means. And really, in reality, it's exactly that, tuning in with oneself. And when one can tune in with oneself, oftentimes one can start to reach another way of awareness. A lot of this has to do with the awareness aspect part of it. So a lot of, Kike, what you had actually asked us, as far as that question, there's a lot of things that we do, why we do what we do. However, at the same time, everyone is capable of reaching this same level of content within themselves. And it is possible. It's not that we're doing anything out of the norm. We've just learned that, as you can see, we're older gentlemen who have experience of wisdom and age.
Much older. Look, I saw this bumper sticker the other day that said the first 40 years of childhood are the toughest.
Yeah, exactly.
So lambs in the pasture, really.
These walks of life have taught us to be the best versions of who we can be. Just because there's only so many times that you keep banging your head until you realize maybe it's pull instead of push.
So I wanted to recap a little bit on both of you guys' stories. Rich,
actually, that was push
you
instead
were
of pull, but
in the emergency. Remind me of the title. You were basically a person that helped people in emergency situations. You would save lives, basically.
A team of specialists, yeah.
Exactly. And for many years you worked on that. You were exposed, or you were, you lived in the hospital environment. You were in that type of
loved it
everyday, type of rescuing people from different circumstances. And Dr. Newman is a researcher of the first of the Oriental philosophies. You are a doctor in acupuncture and so on, different therapies. But both of you work in the health, let's health realm or system. But at some point, you guys decide to start something together, and that is INVITAS. And it's the combination of all your knowledge, also
well said.
Working with new ways of achieving that nutrition. So that's basically, we want to know more, what is the system that you guys are implementing, and why do we even need that? Because we were talking before, we used to get food, we used to buy, get our groceries, expecting to be to get all the elements, everything that we need for our body, but it's no longer the case. It's no longer happening. So I was asking you guys, will there be a day when most of our nutrition will have to be the way you guys are, bringing it? Is that Is that the future of humankind?
Wow.
You know, I would say first and foremost, and I'm so glad you mentioned this topic. We've each had, before meeting, over 20 years of experience in the health field, both in emergency and also stem cell and regenerative medicine, and on the holistic and functional side. And when we come together, we feel that we represent what the best of both sides has to offer. And not only have been able to create the system that brings this to the people who are interested, the best of that, but we've innovated and created, completely pioneered new methods of bringing these two medical systems together.
You know, with methods, I think awareness is also important.
Okay.
Because a lot of these things, it's not just new age things that we're doing. These have been around for a while. These are also ancient. Some of these practices, as Dr. Newman can elaborate very extensively and profoundly on, and hopefully we can even just talk about the vibration thing that we were talking about. That I wonder how many people don't even know that.
So true.
And there's all these gurus of yogis and all this stuff who know, and they've been blessed with what they know. And then here comes Dr. Newman with his insight, and then just takes it up another notch.
I appreciate that. That's a rabbit hole of a conversation. But no, just in the one area. Just take this one area that you were talking about of nutrition, detox, and absorption. And it's just one area where we've perfected together some part of this method. And about relying on this completely, 100% absorption. I mean, maybe there's not a day soon where people won't get their nutrients from food and so on. But it sure is the best way to make those nutrients available is with IV infusion. Yeah. It bypasses your digestive system completely.
Right. No, well, that's the thing. Hopefully
so
not.
To depend is a strong word, but
hopefully
the soil should be hopefully replenished at some point.
Yeah. But if you definitely want the highest absorption, then that's the way to go. Regardless if that's what we're headed to or not, I do unfortunately think that at some point in time, and I want to be wrong, I don't want to be right in this case. But if you think about it real quick, let's just go down the list. So soil is compromised with the GMOs and all the fertilizers, right? Then you got water with fluoride, lead, and all the pollutants in the water there.
Including pharmaceuticals, runoff, and
there you go. But then you got also stress, genetic, age, disease, viruses, habits, lack of sleep, smoking, pollution in the air,
radiation,
stress, bacteria, viruses, molds, funguses, microorganisms. As you're constantly under stress, it's constantly impacting your body, and your body.
Politicians.
What was that?
Politicians. Information. Just information in general can bombard.
Oh, that's true. See what I'm saying? Exactly. Information too can create a lot of. We
only have so much capacity for.
Right.
Most of it very negative.
Most of it obviously impacting the body. So the body's meant to obviously regenerate itself, and if it has the proper nutrients, it can do so. So if everything's been compromised already, you have to think about the quality of the food or the supplements that you're actually ingesting and absorbing. So the only thing that I'm doing differently is I'm giving you a higher absorption rate. It's intravenous. Higher concentration, higher absorption rate. It's the only difference. I'm not reinventing the wheel. And these supplements have been around. These techniques have been around. Difference is that you don't know about them. You don't really think about it because it's better to have it on the hush-hush and be that few percent that look beautiful, not that I look beautiful, but in that sense, but with that are into anti-aging, stem cells in their face, in the Botox and all these things. These types.
You don't look bad for your 80.
I'm 64.
64,
but I'm feeling great. 87. It's the glutathione. So a lot of this helps reduce what? Inflammation of the body. Supplementation is great because it helps the body perform better. That's optimizing human performance. If your body is high in acidicness, with the proper nutrients, the proper absorption and supplementation, hydration is key. Just because you're drinking water doesn't mean that you're hydrated or that you're absorbing the water that you're drinking. So these are very important things. So I'm not really doing anything that's outside of what functional medicine and a lot of specialists at high-end places actually are doing. These types of exact treatments, it's a lot more expensive there. Because we have a different intention, a different purpose.
And I would say also, just a quick note, I know, that part of it is making the system available. We have a program of detox and cleansing that we recommend that our clients experience, so that the cells are cleaned and they're more available on that level too for the absorption. So there's a lot that goes into the methodology that we offer as a team that optimizes their performance by building on that capacity and that level of being available within their self to absorb. You can give the person 100% of everything, but we also work on making the body system available for more of what that is. Right. And detoxing the effects from stress, inflammation, et cetera, along the way.
That was what I was going to say, that you guys, I mean, you analyze, because we buy things, we think that we need them, like all these supplements, but we don't really know. I mean, they tell us that after 50, we need to increase testosterone levels. And as Dr. Justin Newman was saying, that who tells you that maybe what you have is higher levels of estrogen?
Estrogen, maybe your testosterone is fine. And we have to bring, the leading cause of prostate inflammation in men is the difficulty in converting the extra estrogen or free estrogen out of your bloodstream. And things swell. The prostate swells because estrogen levels are too high. If you eat cauliflower and broccoli, these types of vegetables bring that down. This is the number one cause of the ailment of most men. Simple, but it's not just that. It's being able to know individually what is that person best benefited by, and in terms of diagnostics. And I think this is one area where we as INVITAS really distinguish ourselves, is having specialized diagnostics that are available so that that person understands to their own system where their specific deficiencies might be. Otherwise, you might be buying vitamin A, but you need vitamin E or whatever. But this is definitely Richard's area of specialty, because he works on diagnostics alongside the infusion program.
So it's essential to analyze the blood in every person.
Well, it's recommended. Oftentimes that these vitamin infusions are essential vitamins that your body naturally needs and produces. So again, it's not reinventing the wheel. It's just increasing these supplements that your body needs. So these IV infusions, whether you get tested or not, are still beneficial. You don't test yourself when you take a multivitamin, do you?
Probably not. Most people don't.
No, you obviously. And how often do you take a multivitamin? Most of them daily, if they take it. So again, I'm just giving you a higher absorption rate for the supplementations that you naturally would be taking anyhow. It's very simple. It's just a matter of now getting over the fact that this really does work, and you're getting a bigger bang for your buck, because the absorption rate is a lot higher. So oftentimes our clients reduce taking their oral supplements in order to come in and get their vitamin infusions every so often, because they understand that it's a higher absorption rate.
For the average person, the absorption is only about 20% at best anyway, and maybe less if you have digestive issues of different kinds. So if you think about it, and this is part of the reason we've been trying to make this available for everybody, you don't have to be an elite person, is that we can step in and I lost the point.
What we were talking about was
diagnostics.
Supplementation and diagnostics.
The 20%, if you multiply that by 5 times 100% absorption, you'd spend 5 times the money on your supplements to get the same absorption, and it takes that much longer. So there's a cost savings here too. So we've made these programs available, affordable to the average person.
So there's that part. Just in conclusion real quick. So there's that part. You don't have to necessarily have the diagnostics to get these infusions, because we're infusing what you naturally would be trying to absorb anyhow with your multivitamin. However, we do recommend that you do our diagnostics, which is a live blood analysis. And this is necessary. It's actually it'll show us how your diet has been and your deficiencies have been for the past 6 months. And if your diet hasn't changed much within the last 6 months, it's a good indication for within the past year of what your deficiencies have been. Why is that important? Well, I say that because sometimes, or oftentimes, people go from either going from vegan to another type of dietary consumption and whatever it may be, so their diet changes. However, if your diet has been the same, you've most likely been deficient for quite some time. So these live blood analysis will actually indicate what your exact deficiencies are. Once we find out what those deficiencies are, we can formulate cocktails, IV vitamin infusions, to infuse those supplements that are water soluble. And the ones that are not, the diagnostics gives you a result of what foods you should be eating, the amount of foods you should be eating in order for you to absorb the nutrients that you are deficient in. That's really what we do as far as diagnostics.
One thing that really makes me excited about this kind of test is, and I think a lot of other healthcare providers out there could appreciate this, is that when people come with their lab work, typically the blood work is just a snapshot of what's happening at that moment. 5 minutes later, your levels could be different. And so with live blood cell analysis, the lab cultures these cells and keeps them alive for days and tests them against these micronutrients and sees how are they functioning over time, and extrapolate this 6 months of functional activity. It's not just at that moment. It gives you a real sense of function on the cellular level of that person, and then of course you can tailor everything to that person's needs. It's amazing.
So I wanted to ask you, by listening to you, it sounds to me that it's something normal that any doctor, any health institution would do. But for some reason, I heard Richie say that this belongs more to the alternative side of medicine, to the holistic side of medicine. And why is that? Why isn't this being taken in account when a doctor diagnoses and prescribes whatever, what kind of nutrition they must have? Isn't it this common in the day-to-day health system?
Unfortunately not. Unfortunately a lot, and Dr. Newman is going to elaborate on at some point on this as far as the amount of education that doctors actually are taught in med school. But the truth of the matter is when you're working in the ER, you're working in that hospital setting, you're not really thinking of nutrition or the mind or cellular function. You're not really looking at that. You're looking at all types of synthetic, hardcore medications, which are also important and needed at times. I'm not saying anything wrong about that. But when you're so wrapped up and you're so far down that hole, oftentimes you don't really consider the natural or the nature part of things. I'm not going to say the word big farm, so I'm not even going to touch that subject.
I won't say big farm.
But the truth of the matter is
we didn't hear it.
Exactly. So they're great. Look, I get it. Medications, and again, medications, most of them come from plants anyhow. So nature heals. Physicians treat, nature heals. And that's the difference. When you're working in that industry, you're working with physicians, specialists, and all types of amazing people who do amazing things, but they do it from a synthetic form, which you need that at that moment. The reason why they're not talking about checking their deficiencies is they're not really understanding the benefits of what it's like to have a body that's able to function properly and detox properly. Instead of giving all of these types of, painkillers, maybe, some magnesium, which is a vasodilator. It helps relax the muscles in the body. Oftentimes that can be used, and that's good for so many other things that are within the body, but it's easier to go down a different route.
Look, I would say, that there's, as you said, a place for all of these types of interventions in our healthcare, right? Believe me, even as a doctor of functional and holistic medicine, I would be the first person to tell you to take a medication if you need it. But let's look at the other things that can be done to help us to rid ourselves of the need for that medicine and support whatever underlying deficiencies there might be. Look, when I was in pre-med, I was hearing stories of people. This is typical. Then, it's been over 25 years. Oh, my grandmother's taking 23 medications.
You mean you're not 25
or
years
whatever.
old?
Not bad for 87. 23 medications. I thought, wait a minute. I thought the doctor's goal should be to prescribe not more, but none. Why are we not getting to the root of what's happening here? And of course, nutrition is a big part of that. Again, if you need a medication, maybe you take it, especially in an emergency. But what else can we do? This is really, what focuses my attention here. And there are many natural ways to provide intervention that don't involve like diet and IV supplementation. Doctors are offered fewer classes today in nutrition. Fewer. How does that make any sense? The average person on the street knows more about nutrition than their doctor.
Did you just call me the average person? He just called me the average person.
And this is the case in point with all of us, or most of us. And it's not just that perhaps a certain, influential group of movers and shakers want people to be medicated from a young age, and then perhaps over-medicated, and maybe not have the levels of wellness and capacity, the superheroes, right, that we are. Maybe they don't want us to access what we're really capable of. That's another story. Maybe there's a place for prescription-based care and natural medicine together in your life, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah. It's preventative medicine. There is a point where you can reach preventative medicine. I often say this, or we often say this, and I say this as we, that just because you're not sick doesn't mean you're healthy. And a lot of illnesses that are going to present themselves years from now, you're going to wonder, when did this happen? Well, it's happening right now. That's the thing. It's happening right now. So what you want to do is regenerative medicine. You want to reduce the inflammation in your body. You want to regulate the pH in your body, within your cells, within your body, within your mind, within your heart, within your gut, within your life. Clean up your life. Understand. Be love. Be love, and you will see that vibration can shape your reality. And this is what optimizing human performance is being present within the now, knowing that despite whatever it may be, you are at your fullest, if not highest, capability. This body is a limitation of our being. Think about that.
Although it's also a vehicle of our being.
A vehicle too, sure.
It's not only, of course, who we are, as you say. We are an integrated being. Spiritual, energetic, physical, emotional, mental, total.
Besides,
and some people aren't ready for all of the love right away, but if they can just make some space, the love may fit there.
Right.
You don't have to jump and embrace all this stuff. A lot of people aren't ready for that. It's kind of scary.
Well, what's interesting,
but just make enough space for it.
Is.
And invite it, maybe.
But it's not really about so much always the other person, too. It's your capability of being able to love. I remember, I remember this being, and this is a beautiful experience that I had. So I was at Miami-Dade College, and I was taking this class of critical thinking with this professor who was a snowbird of one of these huge universities in New York. And I didn't go to a university, an Ivy League school like that, so I didn't have that experience to sit in one of these grand professors' classes and go through these deep, lectures. But I finally did at Miami-Dade College, and it was the best. The point of the matter is this. I remember we were writing an essay, and the essay that I wrote was that you're either a victim of love or a prisoner of fear. And he pushed back on that, and he said, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but tell me what you think. And it made me think. It was very simple for me. Oftentimes, when people fall in love and they give their all, right, they get hurt at some point in time, and you start to hold back that half love, that half hug, that half kiss. You don't want to go all in because you're afraid to be heartbroken or whatnot. But what you're failing to realize is that in there are the nutrients, the growth to be able to expand and love again. Just because you were able to love and give love, and it might have cost you or it might have hurt you, but it also gave you something, fulfillment, and you were able, if you really love that person, you were able to give them something that ultimately they'll be looking for in the next, which is unconditional love. And if you can create that space in that environment, that person, and move on and still be love, free of fear of being hurt, that's love. But most people don't. So they're a victim of fear.
Look, this is beautiful. People,
thank you.
Thank you. People are, they're accessing and making room for this love. And, it brings love to other people.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about we're talking about love, this pure energy of love, pure love. which it comes through the people.
Right.
Comes through each other.
Almost.
You don't have to get this love ultimately from a person. When we learn to love more fully and we're loving ourselves, love itself becomes available in the form of people.
Yeah.
You know, just like more harmony and intelligence and power. We make room for it. And through each other, as you say, people are just love notes.
The universe sends us love notes in the form of people.
I love that. You know, and these are catalysts to help open us up to love more fully, even in our humanness, and heal more fully too. I would say, coming back to what we've been talking about, to function.
Doc, I think it's like a book out of the page you practice, which is creating the space for that love for that person. It most likely, unfortunately, is too much for that person to feel. Oftentimes it is uncomfortable. And I know it's personal,
like you said.
But for me, having the ability to be able to create that space and hopefully live by example that they too can be that love. Hopefully they pay it forward. And it doesn't matter if it costs at my expense of, wow, that's weird. Okay, also, I'm weird then, but I am love.
So I just wanted to show you, show our audience some pictures of your operation. What you see here, well, basically you've been talking about it. It's give not just an infusion or whatever people need. You really sit down with people, you share, and you make it a nice moment for a person to a place where they can feel at home,
for sure,
where they can relax, they can recoup on everything they've been going through. So I think this shows a little bit of what you guys do. Like it's almost like a social, it's a social moment, but at the same time you don't get that at the doctor's office that often. So I think it's also an addition to what you guys do, not just at the office, but in the field. No, you also go to different events, you attend, and help people reach their best performance. So it's a mixture of Western medicine and Eastern medicine, in a holistic way. So I think we've covered a little bit about the why you guys started all of this, and hopefully we'll keep learning more on the upcoming shows on specifics of what the therapy is. Just to remind you that Dr. Justin Newman and Richard Rocha are located in Miami, and you can always visit them.
Let's go, baby.
Please remind us where you guys are located.
We're in the South Miami Pinecrest area, Dayland areas. Yep, South Miami Pinecrest, 8603 South Dixie. But we also connect with people virtually. So if you have questions or feedback to share, or you want to pick our brain about something, we offer free assessments. Reach out to us. Message us through our Insta page at invitasforlife, or you can email us or call or text if you prefer. But reach out. We're here for you.
Wonderful. So can't wait for the next one. It's going to be a little bit more of what we've talked today, but I know it's going to get better and better. It's all about improving and optimizing. Love that word, optimizing human performance. Who knows, maybe one day we're going to be receiving all our nutrition via infusion.
Oh, wow.
Because the way it is going right now with food, it's becoming very, very hard.
Yeah.
So, you guys ready for the next?
Most definitely. Right. We're always ready.
We'll have some robots to help us at that point. So stay tuned.
And we want to learn more about your Eastern philosophy studies, Dr. Newman.
If it pleases
the Tao.
The viewers. Sure.
The Tao of wellness.
Yeah, the way of things.
Yes.
Make some room. And the way of our
I'd have to say a lot of
certain indications,
a lot of those philosophies are integrated within our practice.
Nature.
And we'd have to discuss that further in one of our topics as far as how, and if forgive me if I'm saying too much, but how the philosophies of Aikido and the art of peace are also integrated. The part of an act of peace with yourself internally. So this is very beautiful, and this is by the great Dr. Justin Newman.
All credit to my teachers.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. He always goes there. No, I know it's true, but we're going to ask the question, the audience, this one day, right? So I get it that it's his teachers, for sure. I too have been amazing teachers. We all have. We've all been blessed with teachers, hopefully at least, right? This is my question though. But he shows up to be present and he practices. One thing is knowledge. The other thing is application. He lives through these philosophies. He could have the understanding from his teachers who taught him great things, but it takes his being to act them out and inspire and create what he does with his greatness. But he'll always go back to it as my teachers. And I'm like, dude, I get it. But at what point do you optimize the blessing that you've been blessed with in this vehicle and you say, you're right, I'm a bad...
Look, I appreciate all that. It comes down
here goes the root. So what do you think?
Lineage. It's a lineage.
What do you think? Holler at me. Let me know.
Come in, it's a lineage. Look, as we talked just to circle back to heroes and superheroes.
Circle back.
We're teaching people to be their own teachers, healers. Mm-hmm. You know, that's why I give credit. So you know you're in this lineage, this journey, you know, also, and it's not possible without our teachers. I hope to be, thank you, a great teacher, but a teacher of teachers.
I have a question.
Is there time for a question?
One quick question.
Roll it.
Real quick. Let me ask you, what would your teacher say? If your teacher knew that you were getting recognition, but you were giving the recognition to him, that's like almost saying what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? But we know that the egg came first before the chicken. So really, at some point, you have to recognize your greatness. Am I off on that?
Not at all. And I'll step to those innovations that are unique to me and my practice and my experience. I will. I promise you. And you know, we'll outline this for the masses, God willing.
First was the Buddha. Okay.
Lineage.
First was the Buddha.
There you go.
Indeed. Well, you know what they say: if you're on your way to a pilgrimage and you meet Buddha coming your way on the road, kill him.
Exactly. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, woo! Vitamin Rich, Dr. Newman, and the great, and you, Kike, baby, what's going on? Let's go, baby.
It's going to be great.
Living life
we
to the
meet here
fullest.
in their show, INVITAS presents Optimizing Human Performance every week here at IAAM and Aldea Global, and of course, INVITAS social media. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We did it. Nice.